184. Welcome to GreenBean's Jets Pod. That's what we're doing. We're hanging out here, going to talk a little bit about the New York Jets versus the Miami Dolphins. That's right, Monday Night Football this week. One of very few, much more appropriate number of primetime games for our New York Jets. I'm a big fan of earning, certain exposure, national spotlight type of things. These last couple of years, they take an Aaron Rodgers, they put him in a Jets uniform, and they go, all the primetime games, do it. Well, that blew up in their face so badly. They did it the first year. We got 4 plays of Aaron Rodgers, and the NFL, the committee in charge of scheduling, literally said we felt the Jets owed us one. The Jets owed us. We owe you. Right. Because we got screwed by the New York Jets. Welcome aboard. So we get this Monday Night Football game against our division rival, Miami Dolphins. And it's a funny thing because the era that I came up becoming a Jets fan and all that sort of stuff, the Miami Dolphins were the rival for the New York Jets. Of course, the Bills and the Patriots were in there, and we had the Colts as well when I was a younger fella. But it was the Dolphins for me, and a lot of it was that, obviously the Mud Bowl. That's when I became a fan. Like right that year, going into that debacle, let's call it, in the AFC Championship game. That was my first real year watching the New York Jets, like really watching football, starting to ask questions, want to understand what's going on. So I had that whole thing. And then there was the year after that, or 2 years after that, the draft was the big 83 quarterback class, 1983. And the Dolphins got Dan Marino, and we actually chose Kenny O'Brien over Dan Marino, which was an interesting thing. That's the famous clip. You guys ever hear the clip? There's a Jets fan at the draft. It's actually, I put it in the 10 o'clock mock, the Monday Night Mock intro. He says, well, clearly the Jets know something that the fans up here don't, right? We've heard that forever, but that's what that dates back to. When the Jets decided to take Ken O'Brien over Dan Marino, because Dan Marino, the word on the street was that he had partook in a little grass, as we would call it back then. He took a hit of a doobie, and the Jets didn't like that. There were other things, but anyway. The rivalry, Kenny O versus Dan Marino and the whole thing, it was a big part of my becoming a Jets fan. And I still hold that. When it comes down to it, I want to beat the Dolphins. Like, there's a very special little hatred that I have for the Dolphins. And obviously the Patriots came in and steamrolled everything, and you just gotta kind of hate them the most. But the Dolphins, for me, especially on Monday night, they have this thing going on now, this version of the Miami Dolphins where they just want to take Jets quarterbacks, Jets cast-off quarterbacks. That's one of the things that they like to do. They started it with Mike White, then they got Tim Boyle, and now we have a former number 2 overall pick, Jets savior. At one time, the one and only Zach Wilson is their backup quarterback. And look, there are some that would really love to see Zach Wilson have to be catapulted onto the field and play against our New York Jets. Now, I'm one of those, but I also know this. It's just like with week 1 with Aaron Rodgers, right? Like I said it a million times. Like, if I want to win one game this year, if we can only win one, I'm picking week 1 against the Aaron Rodgerses in Pittsburgh. And we were there, and it was a close game. It was very exciting, but we ultimately lost, as you know. I would have been really, really happy if we took that victory away from that one. But this is another one that falls into that same category. You see how Aaron Rodgers was able to say all the things he said afterwards, and he throws for fucking 4 touchdowns, and it's pain for us as fans. The players, they don't give a shit. Woody doesn't care. He made $18 billion that day. Doesn't care. But like Zach Wilson, like let's say they start the game to a Tagovailoa. He's doing whatever he's doing, and Will McDonald gets an amazing sack, knocks him out of the game. Not that we're rooting for injury, just scenario. And Zach Wilson has to come on the field. How many times have we seen that type of a thing? And who comes? It's just tailor-made for him to come on and be the hero. He's got Tyreek Hill. He's got Jalen Waddle. If you didn't know, this is the Dolphins' debut of Waller, the tight end, Darren Waller. He'll be healthy and coming on board to play against us. And Waller's a stud. He's older now, but he's a badass. So them getting him. And then you got the likes of Malik Washington in the slot. You got A-Chain, you know what I mean? It's like it's tailor-made for him to come in and just be a hero, especially with our defensive backfield struggling like it's been. Jermaine Johnson is out, blah, 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 blah. So we'll get into it and talk about a little bit of those things. But man, oh man, as much as I'd love to see Zach Wilson have to come in and get that chance to, to get some payback, the Jets curse and the NFL films would much rather it be that happens, and it's just made for us to be spread over this toast like jam. That's the way it goes most of the time for us. But hey, man, it's going to be an interesting game. I will tell you that I was down there for 15, 16 years. I lived down there, and I went to pretty much, for at least a nice chunk of the time, when the Jets played in Miami, I went to the game. I'll show you a picture. This was my son, who's now the lead singer of a heavy screamer metal band called Remembrance. This little fella, he's now doing that. But this was his first ever football game, Jets, down in Miami before they put the roof on there. You can see this is Sunday, January 1st, 2012. So New Year's Day. What's going on in the huddle right there, everybody, is this was the day that Santonio Holmes had like a freak out and was pushing and shoving in the offensive huddle. That's my son's first game. So I got a lot of history down there myself. I used to go down there, and it's, the Dolphins have this thing. They put the roof on the stadium, as you guys know, and they have this thing that they did, which is very smart, and you got to commend them. This is like something that the Jets never think of, right? Home field advantage. What is it? Well, the Dolphins did this thing. They built the roof, which has a hole in it like the old Texas stadium used to do, right? Even the new one has it, but the way they did it in back in the day. So the Dolphins have this big hole, so the fans are covered, but the field is not. I like it. And what they did is they made it so the visitors' bench gets baked during the game with the sun. Now this will at night, it's hopefully a little bit less. And I don't know where the sun will be. It'll probably be, I don't know, I think it'll be on the other side, so we won't really get impacted by it. So that's a good sign, but they have that home field advantage because of that. Very, very smart. You could show they're trying to win as an organization, But yeah, it's going to be fun to see our Jets go down there. Did you know? The last 10 times we played in that place, you know what our record is? You guys want to take a shot real quick? What do you think? It's not good. We are 1-9 the last 10 times. Isn't that good? Isn't that good to know? Well, hey, maybe it's time. Maybe we're due. I don't know. But the Dolphins are struggling. And so are the Jets. So we'll talk about it. I do want to take a second and mention the amazing Sleeper app, everybody. You guys know I'm using it with my fantasy leagues. We're doing the Talking Jets Pick'em League is on Sleeper. But did you know it's the best way to experience and connect over sports together. It's a one-stop shop for all your sport needs. You can celebrate and chat on games in real time with other users. That's the great part about it. It's like camaraderie, man. Get the fastest scores, blazing fast news, and alerts right at your fingertips. Play in fantasy leagues and win real money on picks contests, so you can enjoy sports the way it was meant to be. Together, everybody. That's the sleeper difference, everyone. That's what it's all about. Download the #1 sports app today. But before you do, remember to use the promo code GreenBean. I'm putting the link right at the top of the description in this video, so you can get right there, and they are going to double your first deposit of $100. They're going to tack on another $100. They're going to double it. They're going to match it for you. So don't forget to do that. Promo code GreenBean. Link is in the description. One click, boom, bep, beep, bop, ba-doop, you're done. Free hundo for you. And get in on the fun with the Sleeper app. So, what's the big story? The biggest story is this. The biggest story with this game, it's not that it's Monday Night Football. It's not the history, the lore. It's the fact that Storm Duck is not going to be playing for the Miami Dolphins. Now, the bigger news is that there's a guy named Storm Duck playing in the NFL. And where is he playing? He's playing down there in Miami, which just seems even more appropriate, right? Storm Duck, Miami, the Dolphins, water theme. It's an interesting thing. Well, he's been ruled out, as has their slot corner. Jason Marshall is also out. So this is one of those opportunities maybe. But on the other side of things, we have somebody that's out, and it's a big deal. This is the second game in a row that we're going to be without Jermaine Johnson. And what does that do? It forces us to look at a player that we are now coming to call by his name, Michael Clemens. I mean, what else are we going to call him? What are you going to do? You can't call him stuff. He doesn't have a nickname other than, he sucks, loser, things like that. And he's a really nice guy. I met him, all that stuff. Again, when we talk like this, we're not talking about the man per se, but boy, oh boy, is he an amazing disappointment and liability on the field. Did you guys see? It was all over Twitter. I reposted it. If you want to see it, it's on my Twitter feed, my X feed. Dude, the way that this guy, the struggles that Michael Clemens has with sealing the edge is like something I've never seen, right? It is and obviously there are plays, there are stunts, there are calls, all sorts of things that can cause somebody to go inside and everything, but he never seals the edge. As the defensive end, it's usually one of the responsibilities of the edge is that he's going to set the edge and contain, right? Contain. Well, there's a play out there where they put him way out there in wide Nineville, and the whole team responds and goes with the play, except for Michael Clemens. It looks like he thinks, ooh, they're faking out everybody, and it's going to come up the A gap, and he comes from all the way out in outer space. He's out there, but he's covering the slot receiver, and he runs horizontal along the line to get swallowed in the middle of the line. It makes no sense. The guy, I don't know what's up with him. He's a big, huge, strong, imposing fella, and he just can't seem to play the game of football like we need him to play, and I don't get it. So Jermaine Johnson being out, not just that whoever we would have behind him is likely to not be as good. Jermaine Johnson, outside of the injuries, man, is a stud. Week 2 of 2024, we lost him for the season. Week 2 of 2025, the word is that he's not out for the season, but he was out game 3, he's out game 4, so at this point, we really don't know what the rest of the season is going to look like for Jermaine Johnson. And the whole thing, man, having Jermaine Johnson and Will McDonald on the outside with a Quinnen Williams and a Phillips and maybe an LT3, whatever, that's a formidable defensive line. That is very, very strong. Taking JJ out of it, and adding Michael Clemens, even McGregor. I'm telling you, I'd rather see McGregor. I really would. McGregor put up Watts. I don't know, man. Maybe even try LT3 out there, something. I would rather see those guys. Michael Clemens, in addition to his complete lack of impact, as far as, aiding the team, he's also known to draw 15-yard penalties. Isn't that good? Not draw, commit. Sorry. Last week's the face mask, and we talked about it during the live stream, which if you're watching this Monday, it's going to happen tonight. We'll be live around 6:30 or so. I hope you guys will come hang out with us. We were talking about it. Baker Mayfield did an incredible job of, when somebody's face mask gets pulled, it does something. Like there's a very, very telltale sign with the helmet. Well, he made the move. Michael Clemens didn't really grab his face mask. He grabbed over here, and Baker Mayfield did the head jerk, so it looked like it. But it doesn't matter. It's Michael Clemens. And he got the penalty anyway. So once again, he's not only not making plays, he's making penalties. So it's like he's hurting the team, not just, being without impact and helping the team. He's actually hindering it, and it's getting tired of it. So what are we going to do with this stuff? Now, the defensive backfield, we're still shuffling guys around. Brownlee, who we just traded for, will not be playing. He's the other guy who's been listed as out for the Jets. And Wangu is listed as doubtful. So, who knows with him. But I would just say it's safe to assume he's not going to play. But, man, losing JJ is a bad deal, man. It really is, and it hurts his defense that is really not that deep. So it's an interesting year for the Jets. Look, our defense we're having problems, but they'll keep working on it, and hopefully they stiffen up. But it's an interesting year as far as what we're really watching, right? Game 1 was exciting, a lot of emotions, the quarterback flipperoonie with Fields and Rodgers switching teams and the whole thing, and it was the home opener, and it was a good, fun game. But the Jets did something that we're not used to seeing, which is they scored 32 points and really should have won the game. They, like we've talked about ad nauseum at this point, it took a crazy, wacky play, miracle catch and a 60-yard field goal to beat us by 2 points. And that sucks. But it doesn't change the fact the Jets scored 32 points in that game. Now, the game against the Bills, we didn't do any such thing. But then we play the Bucs and we score 27 points. So granted, one of those was Will McDonald's blocked field goal. But you can see with 3 touchdowns happening in the fourth quarter, the Jets are doing something where we're not getting blown out in 2. We didn't get blown out in 2 of the 3 games. I'm not like digging for excuses or silver linings. I'm trying to look at this objectively. Like, what does it all mean? We had the whole thing, look, Justin Fields goes down in week 2, and then you have look, he looked really good in week 1, didn't look very good at all in week 2, and people start getting, we're getting off the horse, off the Justin Fields train. And people were talking about wanting to see Tyrod Taylor. Now, Tyrod Taylor is a backup quarterback. He's obviously older, and he's going to come in. He's going to do what he's got to do. But he's not, you know what I mean? He's not the guy that you want to watch for the remaining season. I'll just say it like that. Justin Fields, on the other hand, is somebody that with the ups and downs, you maybe the whole point of this season, if we look at it right, can literally be watching this guy learn this offense and try to become something. It's a long season. At least there's something to watch there, even though I got a sneaking suspicion he's going to have some real bad games like we saw against the Buffalo Bills. So I don't know. I think Justin Fields clearing the concussion protocol, guys, is just about as good of news as we could have gotten. Now, I'd love to see Jermaine Johnson and all that. But look, we're talking about all these things. Oh, Fashanu's not doing good, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, Mason Taylor, he's disappointed. His 3rd game of his career. and he's disappointed. Remember 2 years ago we were calling Tippmann a bust before he left training camp? Like, it's a funny thing that we do. We get into these finite conclusions really way before we should be even thinking like that. So I think having Justin Fields on the field with the offense, remember, week 1, they scored 32 points. He looked really good. Not perfect, but his feet were engaged. His arm was engaged. He was able to slide that ball in there. Tight windows. Obviously Garrett Wilson being the number one receiver, which is what we want anyway. But getting the ball to the Rutgers of the world. Dumping it off to Breece Hall in the flat. Those kinds of things. Getting Breece or Braylon Allen in some space. But establishing the running game because the passing game is able to get it done. If they're stacking the box, you can make them pay. That's the trick. Now we're playing the team without their cornerbacks, and quite frankly, the defense is not doing all that well. They have the ability to, their firepower is not in question. Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Malik Washington, now Darren Waller, A-Chain. These guys, they can, if they get going, they can make you pay. They can make it a long-ass day for you. So what we have to do, once again, we say it all the time, but it's true, we got to be able to keep our offense on the field. It has to happen. You cannot be putting your defense, which is limited. We don't have this dominant defense. They have some players, but they can't be forced to go out there, a drive, and then the offense is on there for 3 plays and a punt, and they're back on the field in 5 minutes. We cannot do that to them all day and expect to win this game, especially in Miami Heat. Granted, it's at night, but if you've lived there, you know it doesn't necessarily mean anything. It could be 10 at night, and you're out there dying, sweating your ass off with the humidity and everything. So we got to take care of the defense. But what is it with this defense? What's the so what if we do take care of them? What's the number one thing that we got to worry about with our defense? It's not that Jermaine Johnson isn't there. It's Michael Clemens. We all talked about that. The cornerbacks, the safeties, see what's going on with those guys. Who's going to step up? Is anybody settling in, going to stick and actually make an impact? All that is definitely present. But the number one thing is still something else on top of it. For that, we'll talk about it in the Intelligent Gripe. I'll admit, I'm tired of it. I am tired of talking about this one. It seems like something that we just shouldn't have to discuss at the NFL level of the sport of football. It just shouldn't be, but here we are consistently talking about it. And that is, can our defense tackle? Can they tackle? This is not something new. This is not anomalous. This is not something that, holy shit, what happened to our defense? What's going on? All of a sudden, they can't tackle. It's quite the opposite. It's actually something that we're kind of known for. They don't respect us because of it. Other teams, other offenses, they don't respect us. We cannot tackle, which is interesting too, because Brandon Stevens, the guy, the cornerback that nobody really likes, as far as tackling, he's one of the guys that looks to be somewhat of a short tackler. It's crazy. So here we are again. We talked about it all last year. Remember, Jeff Ulbrich had to do, late in the season, had to sit his team down and do a tackling demonstration. We talked about this shit even this year, kind of laughing about it, but it's real. This really happened. An NFL head coach had to sit NFL players down. NFL! $1 million guys, multi-million-dollar contracts, 5-year, 10-year, 12-year veterans. We're sitting them down and we're saying, this is how you tackle. A demonstration on tackling. Aaron Glenn came in this year and he did something that every beat reporter was like, I never seen anything like this. He's running tackling drills. Holy shit. They're actually tackling each other in training camp, which also blows my mind. But here we are. We're going into week 4, and we are the 4th worst tackling team in the NFL. Can you believe it? Again. Now, do you think we want to share the wealth? Somebody else be down here. Let's get good at tackling for a minute. We can come back to this later. No, we stay here. And it's just, it's the number one issue on the entire defense. How many times are our players in position? We saw it week 1. We saw it week 2. We certainly saw it week 3, which to me looked like the worst of the 3 so far. But Steve Wilks was asked about it. And this is what our defensive coordinator, Steve Wilks, had to say. Here's what he says. This is our defensive coordinator. He's been a head coach in the NFL. He's been an interim head coach in the NFL. He's a longtime defensive coordinator. And he's Aaron Glenn's hand-picked guy. He comes to New York, and this is what he's saying week 4. We're running to the ball, but we've got to run to the ball with purpose. I swear to, I don't even know what that could possibly mean. Obviously, the words and the sentence, I very much know what that means. But the fact that your conclusion could be, we're running all over the place, but they don't have any purpose. They're just running around. They're just running. And they know they got to run to where the ball is, so that's good. But they don't know what to do when they get there. They don't know. We got to have purpose. What could the purpose be, you think? What could it be? I don't know. Talk about lentil soup recipes when you get there. Should we make the one from Spain? The one with a Colombian flair? You know the Norwegians have a hearty lentil soup with meatballs. What the fuck are we talking about? We got to run to the ball with purpose. You see guys running to the ball and overrunning. That's something I got to do a better job of coaching. Dude, with all due respect, I appreciate you taking it on the chin, Mr. Wilks. I do. And as much as I don't necessarily love the defensive scheme, and I don't always love the call, but the truth is that we're seeing many, many times every single game, there's opportunity after opportunity for guys getting tackled behind the line, at the line of scrimmage, short gain, where they're slipping through and they're getting 4, 5, 10, 12, even longer yard gains. So is that Steve Wilks' fault? The guy's there. He's got people in position. They're running to the ball. You see guys running to the ball and overrunning. That's something I got to do a better job of coaching. So what does that look like? Now, as you guys know, I'm no coach. I did coach. I coached a different level. I coached 9, 10, 11-year-olds. Some of whom, this was their first, I was their first coach. Did that for 3 years. It was a blast. I loved those kids. But this is the kind of shit that I would talk to them. But here's how I would do it. I would say, hey, guys, the whole purpose of the game of football, from the defensive side of the ball, what we want to do is we want to stop those guys from achieving their goal, which is to take that brown ball and get it all the way down there to pass that line called the end zone, right? The goal line, to get into the end zone. We can't let them get that ball past that line. So when somebody has the ball, they say hike, hike, hut, hike. We used to say go. I remember we go, hey, go. That's what we would do sometimes. But whatever. So you say hike. Now they're going to take the ball, hoop, and the quarterback gets it first. He's going to give it to somebody, a running back, or he's going to try to throw it to somebody like a wide receiver or a tight end, what have you. And they're going to try to catch it and get the ball closer to the goal line. Now, when they have the ball in their hand and you're running toward them, the only way to end the play is to get their knees, elbows, head back onto the ground. So, the only thing to do when you're running at the guy with the ball is to grab him, make sure he can't get away. Depending on the scenario, I would talk about the ways to tackle and everything. The most beautiful tackle in all the land is shoulder pad into the belly, arms around the hamstrings, jack them up, pull back behind those knees, and drive them into the earth with your shot. Nothing quite like it, right? So that's what that's something the way I might be saying. It sounds something like that when I would talk to these 9, 10, and 11-year-olds. And they go, wow, okay, coach, we get it. What could Steve Wilkes possibly say? Like, what does the coaching look like for NFL players? I mean, and you would even say, okay, they're rookies, or if so, like, you can justify it, you can find a way, but even still, you guys were just chosen in a draft by billion-dollar organizations to come onto the team, get on the field, and do the thing you've been doing for 10 years, 15 years of your life, and just do it here. Like, look, it's one thing if, like a Derrick Henry, like you go in and you try to, and he just out-muscles you. Or he jukes you. That shit happens, right? It's something happens. What we're talking about is when they have their hands on them and they slide right off. It's like, or they come in for the big hit with no attempt at a wrap. Obviously, you don't want the jukes and all that, so we got to work on all of it. But the most frustrating thing of all of it is when they have them dead to rights. All you have to do is finish the attack. It's like, are you not serious? Do you not realize that he doesn't give a shit that your hands are on him? He still wants to stay on his feet? That it's a battle? Like, what could you possibly say other than, dude, you guys know how to tackle. If you got a fucking problem, you got a question, come and see me. If you don't know what's going on, let's talk about it. But for real, you guys need to know how to do this. It's fucking defense 101. It's football 101 type of stuff. And if you don't do it, I'm not playing you. Like, it's just that simple. I will go to a practice squad and pluck somebody else. I don't care. And I will replace you. And you will sit. And your career will wither and die like so many anniversary flowers given by husbands who forgot. And last minute they run and get flowers and they put them in water and they just slowly die. That's going to be your career. You'll be forgotten. I mean, right? No matter how you slice it, it's got to stop. Do you realize that if the Jets didn't miss those tackles, we're talking huge plays? Huge. This season's totally different. Last season's totally different. If we could just tackle, it's an amazing thing. So here we are. Justin Fields is back. Him and Garrett Wilson, like him, love him, hate him, whatever you want this year. That's the quarterback we want to see on the field. That's the guy. We want to keep him upright. We want to keep him healthy. We want to keep him in this offense. Him, Garrett Wilson, Jeremy Ruckert, Mason Taylor, Breece Hall, all the guys. We want to see these guys get as much opportunity as possible to be able to just see what they can do. Maybe, just maybe, we're scraping out a win or two here or there, and we get into mid-November, and we're finally clicking, and we start getting on a run, and maybe, just maybe, we can have an exciting end of the year thinking about things like playoffs. Wouldn't that be something? Wouldn't that be something? So, hey, let's see how it goes. In just a few short hours, you'll be hanging out with Frankie from Flatbush and myself. I don't think Chaos is going to be here this week, so we're going to have a guest host, a guest co-host with us this week. I'll let you know later. 6:30 p.m. we'll be hanging out, having a good time right here, and we're going to watch the Jets. And here I'm going to say it. We're going to watch the Jets beat the damn Dolphins. Somebody's got to win. We're both 0-3, and it's not looking good. And look, you don't want to say must win, but boy, oh boy, it's sure looking like one. So I will see you tonight. I'm excited about it. We're going to get it going. Justin Fields is back. The boys are ready to rock and roll. We're going to do it. I hope you come and hang out with me. Guys, enjoy the rest of your Monday. Have a great, great, safe day. I will see you tonight. And as always, go Jets.